members of Gen Z were from different parts of the world and from very different cultures, the first objective was for everyone to introduce themselves and get to know each other. So our first project is called 25 Random Things About Me. If you have a Facebook account, you might recognize this survey, which is very popular last summer on the online social networking site. If not, it's very simple. In our Google group, we were all invited to list 25 facts about ourselves, completely random. We were to write it as fast as we could without thinking too much. In the interest of time, we will now read only 5 from each participant. Alvaro, Chile. I can understand a little bit of Portuguese, French, and Dutch. I like math. I take care of my financial things. I don't like to sing, but people say I'm a good singer. I hate people who support war, madness, violations, hunting, torture, and all those kinds of things.
Lori, Florida. I swam competitively when I was in elementary and middle school. I used to want to drive everywhere, and now that I've been driving a little while, I miss being driven around, especially late at night. I wish I could speak Espanol. ¿Por qué mi amigos hablan español? I have seen snow only once and would love to again. I send way too many text messages. Bijoy, India. I'm short, I can relate, but my favorite game is basketball. I can speak 4 Indian languages apart from English. I don't like cricket, a game which many Indians love. My favorite food is chicken biryani. I have a strong affinity towards gadgets and technology.
Clara, Chile. It is easy to make me cry, and I hate that. I wash my hands more than 23 times in a day. I'm not good at playing the guitar, and I always say that my fingers are too small. I loved vampires before Twilight, but I started to hate them with all this thing of Edward and blah, blah, blah. I never get sick.
Supapriya, India. I dreamt of spending my life with test tubes and lab coat. I'm spending it with computers and software. I love to write poems and short stories. I have a small circle of friends, and I keep in regular touch with them. I have a brother, and he is good at dancing and playing drums. I like to play in water and beaches.
Margie, Florida. I read my horoscope every day and get really excited when it actually matches with my daily experiences. I laugh way too much. I drink at least 1 bottle of Sunny D each day. I tend to bottle up my emotions for a long time. I don't feel hunger or fullness. I have 5 meals a day. Oro, India. I'm always keen to understand different cultures, get to know different people, and eat different cuisines. My favorite orators are Mahatma Gandhi and Barack Obama. If I'm committed to something, then there is no turning back until it is complete. My belief, where there is a will, there is a way. In one word, I'm trustworthy.
Iva, Croatia. I'm allergic to cats, although I have one. I hope I will move to Belgium next year to study theater. People tell me I have a cool voice. It's deep, like when you're sick. I don't eat meat because I don't like it. I do have leather shoes, though. I love Tim Burton movies and Johnny Depp.
Miranda, Florida. I was voted most optimistic at my school. I'm really strict with grammar. I feel uncomfortable around postal workers. I really want to jump out of an airplane, with a parachute, of course. I get sick fairly easily. As I type this, I have a cold.
Jonathan, Chile. I like to eat, but I'm not fat, I think. I like games that you have to think, like math games. I like business. Ha ha. I don't want to have to work all my life. I'm so good at meeting people, to talk. I can talk, 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 and talk. My favorite composer is Beethoven. Krishna, India. I love swimming. I love history, thanks to Wikipedia. I love politics. I love films, all kinds and all languages, all genres and all ages, mainly from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. I don't know how to cook.
Red, the Philippines. My laptop's name is Anna. I don't cook well. I like joining organizations. I love eating bread after eating my dinner. I don't like pets.
Camilla, Chile. I've had red, black, and brown hair. Right now, I have my natural color. I love animals, but I disagree with PETA. I think monkeys are dangerous. I love sushi. I'm very hungry right now.
Cassie, Florida. I have seen each episode of Friends at least 4 times. I'm so scared about college next year. Though I love animals and am a huge animal rights activist, insects and spiders still creep me out. I have had a crush on Johnny Depp for about 4 years. I love Harry Potter and hate Twilight.
Rodrigo, Chile. I don't like religions, but I'm a faithful believer. I work out every single day, even when it's raining. I am a straight-edge warrior, and my only weapon is my mind. I love that one. I have always thought that when you love something, it is the easiest to learn or teach it, and that happens to me with English. I like tattoos, but I don't have one. Yet.
Tracy, Florida. People who obsess over their animals rather than focusing on starving children in the world irritate me. I'd rather watch a movie with someone than go out to a party any night of the week. American Beauty is one of my favorite movies because of one particular scene. Tim Burton films with Johnny are pretty cool. I watch and read Harry Potter way too much.
Our next project was called Exquisite Corpse. Please forgive the name, we didn't come up with it ourselves. It is a technique invented by the Surrealists around 1925 in which a series of artists contribute in sequence to a single work of art, in our case, a short story. This is how it worked. One person would write a paragraph or two of a story, the next person would come along and pick up where the previous writer left off. In the end, we had a complete story. Also, after the story was finished, 4 of us took photographs illustrating the story, and those pictures will be projected behind us. Tonight, we will read the story in 4 parts.
Robert began with, Victor stepped outside and was blinded by the early morning sun. He knew he must hurry if he wanted to catch the bus to the museum. Just then, he noticed he had mistakenly put on 2 different colored socks. He had to make a decision, return to his bedroom and change one of his socks and risk missing the bus, or get to the bus with time to spare and hope no one important notices his mistake.
Kathleen wrote, a car drove past Victor and splashed water on him. Now Victor was soaked. Victor checked his watch to see if he had time to change. He looked to see if the bus was coming. No bus in sight. Victor made his decision.
Brianna wrote, he wasn't going to risk being late again. The last time that he kept her waiting, she hadn't answered his phone calls for a week. The idea of her stranded in front of the museum, tapping her high-heeled shoe in exasperation, checking her watch and scanning Victor on the busy sidewalk, he couldn't let that happen. Determinedly, he walked to the bus stop. Maybe his clothes would dry before she saw him. And if he turned down his pant cuff, she might not catch the mismatched socks. He checked one last time that he still had the documents safe in his backpack. Then he flagged down the bus and got on. Now Victor just had to decide what he would tell her.
Lori wrote, meeting with his mother was always awkward. He really wanted to prove his independence. Victor was turning 19 next week, and his mother didn't like that he had moved out so soon after graduating high school. He had to act like an adult and be at the museum on time, otherwise he would never hear the end of it. He was worried because his mom was so observant. His mother wasn't a big fan of Victor living in New York City after growing up in a small town. But pushing those thoughts aside, she left her stubborn opinions home and visited her son, whom she missed. Victor thought of excuses for his mixed-match socks as he rushed to be on time. He lived in New York, so he knew he could get away with saying anything was in style. But he had more significant news he wanted to tell her.